Welcome to Morning Coffee Thoughts. This is an AI-narrated reading of a commentary piece originally published on the Morning Coffee Thoughts page. The author chose to use AI narration due to a medical condition that limits his ability to speak. While the voice is artificial, the words and thoughts are entirely his own. I've been reading this one columnist for a while now, not because I agree with him, because I can't look away from the trail of damage he has left behind, and, as it appears, continues to leave. He writes for a major national broadsheet. He's a former government official. He has the kind of byline that gets shared thousands of times before most people finish their breakfast. And the more I read him, the more a pattern shows up. One I can't unsee. I'm not naming him here. I don't accommodate garbage journalism on this page, and naming him only gives him a platform. Naming him favors him more. He labels people for a living. Let me start with the one that bothers me the most. He has a habit of attaching labels to journalists, not criticism, labels, the kind that in this country have historically preceded worse things than a bad news cycle. I read one piece where he went after reporters covering human rights issues abroad, called their work bad-mouthing the country, questioned their loyalties. The implication wasn't subtle. In another column, he called for the purging of what he termed ideologically compromised reporters from mainstream newsrooms. I had to reread that word, purging. A columnist in a major broadsheet, a man with credentials, a platform, an audience, using that word about his fellow journalists. Not in a metaphor, as a policy recommendation. The journalists' union responded. They said this kind of labeling doesn't stay on paper. In a country where reporters have been killed for less, putting a target on someone's back through a newspaper column is not just irresponsible, it's dangerous. He never corrected it. He never walked it back. He moved on to the next column. His West Philippine Sea takes read like they were written in Beijing. He has written more than once that the West Philippine Sea is essentially a fiction, a provocation, a term designed to serve American interests by demonizing China. He has echoed almost word for word claims that Beijing has been pushing through its own state media, that the Philippines had a secret agreement with China to remove a grounded naval vessel from a contested shoal, that the agreement existed, that the Philippines broke it. Manila denied it. The Philippine Coast Guard denied it. Fact-checkers found no documentation supporting the claim. The only people pushing it with any consistency were Chinese state outlets. When the Coast Guard spokesperson called him out and invited him to testify at a Senate inquiry on disinformation in the West Philippine Sea, he didn't show up. I'm not saying he's on anyone's payroll. I'm saying that when your columns consistently mirror a foreign government's talking points down to the specific claim, at a moment when that foreign government is pointing water cannons at Filipino sailors, that's worth asking about. The 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling affirmed Philippine maritime rights. That is the legal foundation. His columns chip away at the public's confidence in that foundation, one broadsheet piece at a time. Independent media is his favorite target. For years, he has been running the same play against independent news organizations. They're foreign-funded, he says. They're political weapons. They take American money and use it to push opposition candidates. The organizations he targets, fact-checkers, investigative outfits, digital newsrooms, have responded. They've explained in detail that foreign grants don't violate the Constitution, that the law restricts foreign ownership, not funding, and that SEC rules require full disclosure of such grants. He ignored all of it, ran the same accusations again, the next election cycle. The rebuttal had already been published. He just didn't engage it. One fact-checking organization compared his method to a propagandist's playbook. Conjure a conspiracy, repeat it until it feels true, move on before accountability arrives. What this does, and I think this is the point, is make people distrust the institutions designed to fact-check power. If readers already believe that watchdog journalists are foreign agents, then those journalists' findings stop mattering. The watchdog is neutered before it even barks. That's not a side effect of his columns. That's the function. He helped muddy the 2022 elections. During the last presidential race, he published claims about search data that directly contradicted what a reputable national newspaper had reported, using different datasets and different timeframes without disclosing either. The implication was that the other paper had fabricated numbers to favor a particular candidate. His posts on it generated tens of thousands of interactions. Fact-checkers flagged the comparison as misleading. He didn't issue a correction. In the broader context of that election, one of the most disinformation-heavy in Philippine history, a columnist with his platform and perceived credibility had an impact. His framing fed directly into a larger machinery that had been running for years. The pattern is the point. He's not just a partisan columnist. Lots of people write opinion pieces, lots of people have strong politics. That's fine. What's different here is the structure. He recycles debunked claims without engaging the rebuttals. He uses journalistic language to give smears the appearance of reporting. His West Philippine Sea columns align with documented foreign disinformation operations at the level of specific claims, and his attacks on independent media consistently target the organizations most capable of holding him accountable. Each piece, read alone, can be dismissed as opinion. Read together over years, the shape of it becomes harder to explain as mere partisanship. I don't know what drives it. I'm genuinely curious and genuinely unsettled. What I do know is this: words have consequences here. This isn't a country where bad faith rhetoric just disappears into the internet. Journalists have been killed. Activists have been disappeared. Labels stick in ways that end lives. A columnist who knows that, who has been in government, who has seen how the machinery works and still reaches for those tools, that's the part I can't shake.